In a world increasingly dominated by pseudoscience and superstition, one book stands as a beacon of reason and critical thinking. A world where conspiracy theories spread faster than wildfire on social media, where political leaders dismiss scientific consensus on climate change, and where countless people fall prey to charlatans peddling miracle cures and get-rich-quick schemes. In this chaos of misinformation, how can we, as individuals and as a society, navigate towards truth? Welcome to CEO's Library, the 1% Bookshelf, where we dive deep into the most impactful books shaping industries and driving innovation. Today we're exploring a true masterpiece of scientific skepticism and critical thinking, The Demon-Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark, by the legendary astronomer and science communicator Carl Sagan, published in 1995, just a year before Sagan's untimely death. This book serves as both a love letter to science and a clarion call for rational thinking in an age of credulity. Sagan, famous for his groundbreaking work in astronomy and his iconic TV series, Cosmos, takes us on a journey through the landscape of human belief, shining a light on the shadows of pseudoscience and superstition that continue to haunt our world. But before we delve into the book, let me remind you why we're here. CEO's Library, the 1% Bookshelf, is your exclusive pass to the most impactful business books that are shaping industries and driving innovation. We curate the top 1%'s books, distilling complex concepts into actionable insights. Now, you might be wondering, why are we discussing a book about science and skepticism on a business podcast? The answer is simple. In today's fast-paced, information-saturated world, the ability to think critically, to separate fact from fiction, and to make decisions based on evidence rather than emotion or hearsay is more crucial than ever for business leaders. The tools that Sagan provides in The Demon-Haunted World are not just for scientists. They're essential skills for anyone navigating the complex landscape of modern business and life. So let's embark on this intellectual journey together, exploring the challenges of our time, the power of skeptical thinking, and the enduring importance of science as a guiding light in our personal and professional lives. To truly appreciate the significance of Sagan's work, we need to understand the challenge it addresses, a challenge that has only grown more pressing in the quarter century since the book's publication. We live in an era of unprecedented access to information, yet paradoxically, we seem more susceptible than ever to misinformation and magical thinking. Let me share a personal anecdote that illustrates this point. A few years ago, I attended a business conference where one of the keynote speakers, a well-known CEO of a tech startup, spent a significant portion of his talk discussing how he made major business decisions based on astrological forecasts. He spoke about aligning product launches with favorable planetary alignments and even hiring employees based on their zodiac signs. What struck me wasn't just the content of his talk, but the reaction of the audience. Many attendees, successful entrepreneurs and executives, were nodding along, taking notes, seemingly accepting this approach without question. In the Q&A session that followed, not a single person challenged the validity of using astrology in business decision-making. This experience left me unsettled. How could so many intelligent, successful people be so uncritical of something that, from a scientific perspective, has no basis in reality? It was a stark reminder of how even in our technologically advanced society, magical thinking and pseudoscience can thrive. This is precisely the kind of scenario that motivated Carl Sagan to write The Demon-Haunted World. He saw a society increasingly reliant on science and technology, yet simultaneously embracing pseudoscience and superstition. He recognized the danger in this disconnect, a danger not just to scientific progress, but to the very fabric of our democratic society. Sagan writes in the book, "We've arranged a global civilization in which most crucial elements profoundly depend on science and technology. We have also arranged things so that almost no one understands science and technology. This is a prescription for disaster." This warning feels even more relevant today than when it was written. We live in a world where social media can spread conspiracy theories faster than scientists can debunk them, where political ideologies often trump scientific evidence in shaping public policy, and where the complexity of modern life can make the simple answers offered by pseudoscience seem temptingly attractive. But Sagan doesn't just sound the alarm. He offers us tools to combat this trend. At the heart of the demon-haunted world is what Sagan calls the Baloney Detection Kit, a set of cognitive tools and techniques for critical thinking. Let's explore this kit and see how we can apply it in our daily lives and business practices. Imagine you're in a crucial business meeting. A consultant is pitching a new strategy that promises to double your company's revenue in 6 months. It sounds incredible, perhaps too good to be true. How do you evaluate this claim? This is where Sagan's Baloney Detection Kit comes in handy. The first tool in our kit is to seek independent confirmation of facts. Sagan emphasizes the importance of not taking claims at face value, no matter how authoritative the source. In our business scenario, this might involve asking for case studies of other companies where this strategy has been successfully implemented. It could mean reaching out to your network to see if anyone has experience with this consultant or their methods. Next, Sagan encourages us to engage in substantive debate about the evidence. This isn't about arguing for the sake of arguing, but about fostering an environment where ideas can be thoroughly examined from multiple angles. In our business meeting, this might involve encouraging team members to voice their concerns or alternative viewpoints about the proposed strategy. It's about creating a culture where questioning is not seen as opposition, but as a valuable part of the decision-making process. A third crucial tool is to consider alternative explanations. Sagan warns against becoming too attached to a hypothesis just because it's ours. In the business world, this cognitive bias is often referred to as the sunk cost fallacy, the tendency to continue with a strategy or project simply because we've already invested time and resources into it, even when the evidence suggests it's not working. For example, let's say your company has invested heavily in developing a new product. Early market testing shows lukewarm customer response, but there's pressure to move forward with the launch because we've already put so much into this. The Baloney Detection Kit would encourage us to step back and consider alternative explanations for the test results, and to be open to changing course if the evidence suggests we should. Another key component of the kit is the importance of quantification. Sagan argues that if whatever we're trying to explain has some measure, some numerical quantity attached to it, we're in a much better position to discriminate among competing hypotheses. In our business context, this might mean asking for specific measurable projections from that consultant. Instead of vague promises of doubled revenue, we should be asking for detailed forecasts, ideally with ranges of uncertainty. What specific metrics will indicate success or failure? How do these projections compare to industry benchmarks? Let me share another personal experience that illustrates the power of this approach. Early in my career, I was part of a team evaluating a potential merger. The acquiring company made grand claims about synergies and cost savings, throwing out impressive-sounding numbers in their presentations. Inspired by Sagan's emphasis on quantification, I decided to dig deeper. I spent days poring over financial reports, market analyses, and industry trends. I created a detailed model that broke down each claimed benefit, assigning probability ranges to each projection. The result? While there were indeed potential benefits to the merger, they were far less than what was being claimed. More importantly, my analysis revealed several risks that hadn't been adequately considered. When I presented my findings to the board, it sparked a heated debate. Some were resistant to the idea that the rosy projections might be overstated, but ultimately my data-driven approach won out. The board decided to renegotiate the terms of the merger, resulting in a much more favorable deal for our company. This experience taught me the immense value of applying skeptical thinking and rigorous analysis in business decisions. It's not about being negative or cynical. It's about striving for a clear-eyed view of reality, even when that reality doesn't match our hopes or initial assumptions. But the Baloney Detection Kit isn't just for big business decisions. Sagan emphasizes its importance in our everyday lives. In an age of information overload, these tools can help us navigate the constant barrage of claims and counterclaims we encounter daily. Think about how you consume news and information. Do you seek out sources that confirm your existing beliefs, or do you challenge yourself with diverse viewpoints? When you see a shocking headline shared on social media, do you take it at face value, or do you take a moment to verify the source and look for corroborating evidence? These might seem like small actions, but they add up. By consistently applying these tools of skeptical thinking, we can gradually improve our decision-making, both in our professional and personal lives. However, it's important to note that Sagan isn't advocating for blanket cynicism or disbelief. In fact, he argues passionately for the wonder and awe that true scientific understanding can bring, which brings us to another crucial aspect of the demon-haunted world: the importance of balancing skepticism with openness and curiosity. One of the most powerful aspects of the demon-haunted world is how Sagan demonstrates that skepticism and wonder are not mutually exclusive. In fact, he argues that a skeptical approach can enhance our sense of awe about the universe. Sagan writes, "It is sometimes said that scientists are unromantic, that their passion to figure out robs the world of beauty and mystery. But is it not stirring to understand how the world actually works? That white light is made of colors. That color is the way we perceive the wavelengths of light. That transparent air reflects light. That in so doing it discriminates among the waves, and that the sky is blue for the same reason that the sunset is red. It does no harm to the romance of the sunset to know a little bit about it." This passage always reminds me of a transformative experience I had early in my business career. I was working for a tech startup, and we were struggling to gain traction in a crowded market. Our CEO, a brilliant but sometimes erratic leader, came into the office one day buzzing with excitement about a new strategy he'd dreamed up the night before. His plan sounded amazing, a radical new approach that he claimed would leapfrog us ahead of the competition. The energy in the room was electric as he laid out his vision. It was tempting to get caught up in the enthusiasm, to believe that we'd found our silver bullet. But then I remembered Sagan's teachings. I took a deep breath and started asking questions. Not confrontational questions, but curious ones. How exactly would this strategy work? What assumptions was it based on? What potential obstacles could we foresee? At first there was some tension. I could sense that some of my colleagues saw my questions as negative or obstructionist. But as we dug deeper into the idea, something remarkable happened. Instead of deflating the excitement, our analytical approach actually enhanced it. We discovered that while the core of the CEO's idea was sound, it needed refinement. By applying skeptical thinking, we were able to identify potential pitfalls and develop strategies to address them. We brought in data from market research, financial projections, and technical feasibility studies. The result? A more robust, realistic, and ultimately more exciting plan than the original concept. When we finally launched the initiative, it was with a level of confidence and preparation that we'd never had before. And it paid off. That strategy became the turning point for our company, propelling us to a leadership position in our industry. This experience taught me that skepticism, when applied with curiosity and openness, isn't a wet blanket on innovation and excitement. Instead, it's a tool that can help refine and improve our ideas, making them more likely to succeed in the real world. Sagan's book is full of examples that demonstrate this principle in the realm of science. He shows how the process of scientific inquiry, with its emphasis on evidence and rigorous testing, has revealed a universe more vast, complex, and awe-inspiring than our ancestors could have imagined. In business, we can apply this same principle. By embracing a skeptical but curious mindset, we can strip away the false promises and magical thinking that often cloud business discourse, revealing the true challenges and opportunities before us. And in doing so, we open ourselves up to genuine innovation and progress. But Sagan's vision goes beyond individual decision-making or even business strategy. He sees the cultivation of critical thinking as essential to the health of our democracy and our society as a whole. In one of the most quoted passages from The Demon-Haunted World, Sagan writes, "I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time, when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the key manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues. When the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority. When, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness." Reading this passage today, it's hard not to feel a chill of recognition. Many of Sagan's concerns seem to have come to pass, or at least We can see their shadows on the horizon. But Sagan doesn't leave us without hope. He presents science not just as a body of knowledge, but as a way of thinking, a tool for democracy. He argues that the scientific method, with its emphasis on evidence, open debate, and willingness to change in the face of new data, provides a model for how a healthy society can function. In the business world, we can see parallels to this vision. The most successful companies today are often those that embrace a culture of innovation, encourage questioning and debate, and make decisions based on data rather than hierarchy or tradition. Think about companies like Google, with its famous 20% time policy that encourages employees to spend part of their work week on projects that interest them personally, or Amazon, with its emphasis on disagree and commit, a principle that encourages employees to voice dissenting opinions, but also to fully support decisions once they're made. These approaches echo Sagan's vision of a society where ideas are freely exchanged and critically examined, where authority is questioned, and where decisions are made based on evidence rather than dogma. But creating this kind of culture, whether in a company or in society at large, isn't easy. It requires constant vigilance and effort. It means being willing to question our own assumptions, to admit when we're wrong, and to change course when the evidence demands it. As business leaders, we have a crucial role to play in this process. We can foster cultures of critical thinking in our organizations. We can model skeptical inquiry and evidence-based decision-making, and perhaps most importantly, we can use our platforms to advocate for science education and critical thinking skills in our broader communities, because ultimately, the health of our businesses is intrinsically linked to the health of our society. If we allow ourselves to slide into what Sagan calls a celebration of ignorance, if we lose our ability to distinguish fact from fiction, if we abandon the rigorous thinking that has driven progress for centuries, then we all lose, as individuals, as businesses, and as a society. But if we can embrace Sagan's vision, if we can wield science as a candle in the dark, illuminating our path forward, then the possibilities are truly limitless. As we come to the end of our journey through the demon-haunted world, I'm reminded of another powerful quote from the book. Sagan writes, "Science is more than a body of knowledge. It is a way of thinking. I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time, when no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness." These words, written over 2 decades ago, feel eerily prescient today, but they also offer us a roadmap for the future. By embracing scientific thinking, by honing our critical faculties, by learning to question and seek evidence, we can light a candle in the darkness. As business leaders, we have both the opportunity and the responsibility to be torchbearers. We can foster cultures of critical thinking in our organizations. We can make decisions based on evidence rather than intuition or tradition. We can encourage healthy skepticism and open debate. But more than that, we can use our platforms to advocate for science education and critical thinking skills in our broader communities. We can support initiatives that promote scientific literacy. We can speak out against pseudoscience and magical thinkings when we encounter it. Remember, the goal isn't to strip the world of wonder or to become cynical. As Sagan so beautifully demonstrates, true scientific understanding can enhance our sense of awe about the universe. It's about seeing the world as it really is, in all its complexity and beauty, rather than settling for comforting fictions. In your own life and career, I encourage you to embrace the tools of skeptical thinking that Sagan provides. Question your assumptions. Seek out diverse viewpoints. Demand evidence for extraordinary claims. And above all, remain curious. As we navigate the challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to artificial intelligence, from global pandemics to the future of work, these skills will be more crucial than ever. By cultivating critical thinking, we can make better decisions, build more resilient organizations, and contribute to a society that values truth and evidence over comforting myths. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that you can find a link to purchase The Demon-Haunted World by Carl Sagan in the episode description. Whether you prefer a physical copy, an ebook, or an audiobook, I highly recommend adding this timeless work to your library. It's a book that rewards multiple readings, offering new insights each time you return to it. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the demon-haunted world. I hope you found it as enlightening and inspiring as I have. Remember, in the words of Carl Sagan, somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Let's approach that unknown with both skepticism and wonder. This has been CEO's Library, the 1% Bookshelf, encouraging you to keep reading, keep questioning, and keep growing. Until next time, may your decisions be wise, your mind open, and your candle of reason burning bright.